Absolutely.
Did you?
It was.
What
Yeah.
you're thinking?
Yes, of course. I'm obsessed with UFO stuff in general, so I'm all over this.
Have you ever seen anything like that?
I have.
Oh, we'll talk about this in just a moment. Okay. Oh, yes. Right, still to come this morning. There's 1/3 of the Jonas Brothers. Nick Jonas has been singing since the age of 6 when he was discovered in a local hair salon.
Since then, he's performed on Broadway, been part of Disney's Camp Rock, and now he's about to release his second album. But before we meet him, let's take a look back through the back catalogue.
To change, but the chains only bring me.
And he's here right now. We'll come to the UFOs in just a minute, but let's get the business sorted first of all. So, second album, and obviously a lot of people watching now will know you because of the brothers and your relationship with there, and the massive success you had. So when you go out on your own, and you've been used to working with your brothers for such a long time, it must be a bit lonely.
It can be. The traveling side of things can be. Obviously working with my best friends for many, many years, and then having to get adjusted to being on my own was a big change. But I'm loving what I'm doing, and thankfully, I've got a good team around me that are like my family at this point.
So the latest single, Levels, that's currently out at the moment, and you're announcing that you've got a new album coming out next year.
Yeah, staying very busy.
Good, yeah, it sounds like it. And you've said with this one, the writing was very important to you, to just be very honest and very open about things.
Yeah, well, I saw with Jealous, which was a single from the first record, my solo record, that when I became my most transparent and honest in that song, it connected in a big way. So I felt the need to do that on this next record, and I've had a really interesting year between.
Because with somebody like you, when you have to almost give so much out there, and so many people want little bits for you, is it when you've got those things to yourself and they are yours? Is it hard to sometimes give them up on an album because you just think, gosh, that's my final little bit that nobody knows?
Yeah, it can be, but I feel like when it's case specific, it's easier. I've had quite a bizarre year in many ways, and sharing those stories is comfortable. When it gets into too much personal stuff, I sort of set some boundaries, but I'm kind of an open book the rest of the time.
So what's been bizarre about your year?
Many things. I mean, as we talked about at the beginning, branching out my own and doing that, and went through, a breakup this year and wrote about that, and lots of things that, I think are incredibly important to just get real about in my work and kind of dive into it that way.
Well, you are quite careful about how much we know about your personal life anyway, aren't you? I mean, there's a certain amount you'll write about, and that's, sort of material for the album. But the rest of it, and as Holly said, that's got to be tough. The boundary, right, you can have that, but you're not having any more.
Yeah. I mean, you do set those boundaries, but also it's tough these days to try and set those with social media and these other things. It didn't exist when I first came out, and, when I was working with my brothers, and now it's such a different world, but it's good. It creates for honest and true art.
And good business too, because you started up a record label with Demi Lovato, haven't you?
Yeah, it's exciting. Demi and I have been friends for a long time, and launched a record label with our longtime manager, Phil McIntyre, about a year ago, and we just announced a joint tour together next year.
Which you're not coming to the UK?
We are working on plans for the rest of the world. The announcement for the US went so well, the fans were so amazing that we were kind of overwhelmed by the response around the world too, and hoping to get to different territories and hopefully.
Okay. Can we do the UFO stuff now, please? Because I'm desperate to know. When did you see a UFO?
So this was probably 8 years ago. I was in my backyard in LA and looked up in the sky, and there's 3 flying saucers. And I looked at my friend and I said, "Are you seeing this, or am I losing my mind?" And he was seeing the same thing. And then I went online and looked, and there were 3 identical sightings 2 weeks before.
And were you the only one that saw it that night?
No, it was me, my friend, and there was a bunch of people in LA that saw it.
So is it because, and I would love to believe in UFOs, and there's no reason that there wouldn't be life. If we're all there are in the universe, then I think it's a right old mess. But you guys around there, you've got the Pacific out to one side, and you've got all the Navy stuff that goes on out there. You've got the desert on the other side. So it's quite open for those sort of military manoeuvres, isn't it?
Nah, I don't know. That's assuming a lot that they would just do that right there and all those people would be able to see it, to me at least. But I don't know, that blue light, it freaks me out in the best way possible. I'm really excited to get back to LA. I leave in a couple hours. I'm going to go try to find the UFO.
Well, if you do find one, will you come back and let us know how it went?
You've got some big gigs coming up, haven't you? You've got the Jingle Bell Ball.
Yeah.
The ball. There's a couple of those shows in the US too. We do our holiday radio shows. And then this tour next year, and then the AMAs, the American Music Awards, are coming up, and I'm nominated in the category of some Brits, so I got to hold down the American front.
Right. Okay.
You got the band when you were together was quite wholesome. I mean, you've got quite raunchy recently, haven't you?
Have I? Oh, I didn't know.
Well, there's lots of pictures which are reasonably raunchy.
Not too raunchy. I mean, natural growth as a man and into my adulthood. I think that's only natural.
You've answered that before.
Listen, it's great to see you. Thank you very much indeed for coming in.
Of course,
and good luck with the UFO spotting.
Thank you.